So we're continuing the Sefer V'Ani Tamid Imach, and in the Sheilu Beis, he's describing someone who does not feel that he's having a success in learning. So we talked in the past, especially yesterday, about davening to have success, davening to be able to remember. So he says like this: Im Einoch, this is on Daf Ayin Aleph. Im Einoch Zeichel Lahavin is Alimud. Even if a child is not being successful, you have a kid who's going to yeshiva, it's not really working. Or you have a guy who goes to Daf Yomi and he just doesn't feel like he's really walking away with anything tangible. Im kol zeh hishtadel leilcha Beis Hamikdash. Keep going. Push yourself to keep going. Lilmoid eskabel schar etzem alicha. Because you'll get reward for that. Etzem going. Showing up is half the battle. Even if someone doesn't understand every daf, first of all, you get much more than you think. But also you're there. You put in the effort to be there. Kumavur ba'avis, as the Mishnah said in Avis, Arba midas b'holcha leBeis Hamikdash, hoylach ve'ena oises schar licha biyadeh. The Mishnah says in Avis and Parakeh Mishnah Yadalit that merely going you get schar halicha. You get rewarded for merely showing up. That's half the battle. Pirush Harav and the Bartanura says hoylach leBeis Hamikdash l'shmoya ve'ena shoyna v'loymid ve'ena meven. That even if a person goes to shul and for a shir, and he doesn't really understand the shir that much, he tries his best. He doesn't really have the kelim, but again, as long as he tried, then he accomplishes something. And just talking about going to shul, merely being there, as being part of the mitzvah, Rabbi Yoin al Arif in Brachas Daf Dalid says, "Kol kevei makom l'teirasei oivav neifun tachtav." The Gemara says that if you have a special place that you learn, like a makom kuva for learning, then your enemies will fall before you. Shneimar v'samti makom la'ami Yisrael. Pirush ha'pasuk nemar al Beis Hamikdash. Shakadosh Baruch Hu yamashish chinasei sham. Ubezchus hayu Yisrael yoishin lebetach v'yimafachtim ba'ovim. Rabbi Yoin explains there's no pasuk that says you should learn in a specific spot in the shul and you'll be protected. The pasuk is referring to the Beis Hamikdash, because the Beis Hamikdash was a set place of Hashem's Shechina being present, that created a sense, a net of safety for Eretz Yisrael and for the Jews throughout the world. And nowadays we don't have a Beis Hamikdash. Makam haTorah b'mkayma. The place of your learning is mamish makam hamikdash. And that means that if a person has a special place at the kitchen table where they learn, then that's important. And even if you're going to say, well, what am I doing? I'm not really learning so much. I'm not really successful. I'm tired. Sit at the table, open up a sefer, and try your best, because that place is mamish turning that makam into a makam b'Beis Hamikdash, and it creates a protection. The Gemara says in Brachas, that since the time of the Churban, Hashem only has 4 amas of halacha. That's all He has. Is when you open up a sefer, ideally in a shul or ideally in a Beis Medrash, but even if not at home, then that itself is a makam hamikdash. And that'll protect you that'll mamish protect you and other Jews. This is that belief system which we believe fully, that what a Jew does, mamish makes a difference. Mamish makes a difference. I mentioned this past Shabbos. Let me finish this paragraph and I'll mention what I mentioned Shabbos. And says Rabbi Yoin, even if a person doesn't know a lot, then try your best to learn what you can. It'll help you become closer to Hashem. I'll just mention with Amaisa, I mentioned this past Shabbos, a man who was named Shimshon Stak. And in 1955, he went to the Lubavitch Rebbe and he brought his son's friend, who was just 13, he brought him to the Lubavitch Rebbe for a bracha. So the Rebbe talked to the boy, gave him brachas. As the boy's leaving, the Rebbe turned to him and he said, "Do you like sports? Do you like baseball?" So the boy was obviously taken back. He didn't think he'd have this conversation with the Lubavitch Rebbe. So he said, "Yeah." So the Rebbe said, "Who's your team?" So he said, I'm a fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers." So the Rebbe said, "Have you ever been to a game?" So the boy said, "Yeah, I went to a game about a month ago." So the Rebbe said, "How'd the game go?" So he said, "I didn't enjoy it that much." The Rebbe said, "Why?" He said, "Because the team was getting destroyed. They were getting blown out. It was 9-2 in the 6th inning, so we left. My team was losing, so we left." So the Rebbe looked at him, he said, "Did the players also leave?" So the boy looked at the Rebbe maybe he doesn't know as much baseball as I thought. He said, "Of course not." So the Rebbe said, "Why not? Why didn't the players leave?" So the boy said, "Well, the fans come and go, but the players, they're part of the team. They change the outcome. They have to stay." So the Rebbe smiled and he said, "To be a Jew, you could be a fan or you could be a player. Your job is to be a player." And the message is also for this. The players affect the outcome. The players are there to the very end. The players can change everything. They could change the outcome of the game, and that's true with every single Jew. Every Jew is mamish able to change the outcome of all of reality. So the Rabbi Yen is saying is that when a Jew sits and learns in his kitchen, he mamish can protect soldiers in Eretz Yisrael and soldiers in Lebanon and Jews throughout the world. It's something to take to heart. And even if a person doesn't feel like he's successful in learning, sit and learn. Try your best. That itself can make all the difference.